Hey guys, well, I do appreciate all the love and support you guys give me. In this video, we're going to be discussing very sensitive, serious topics such as depression and associated features. And if this topic is too heavy for you, it's going to cause you a lot of distress, please feel free to skip it. I understand, and I'll see you in the next one. What's up, friends? Welcome back to KimmyDTV, a place where nurses and aspiring nurses come to achieve academic, career, and life success. And in this video, we're going to be talking about inexpensive ways to manage your depression. So first, I'm going to start off by saying 4 prefaces. So the first preface is, I know my tagline says for nurses or aspiring nurses, but you don't have to be a nurse, aspiring nurse, or even a healthcare professional to use the tips that are on this video. Number 2, we don't focus on negative coping mechanisms in this video. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they feel depression or sadness, they go towards negative coping mechanisms such as overeating or overspending. So we are not going to go towards these negative coping mechanisms. We're going to focus on positive coping mechanisms. Number 3, there are certain keywords that I cannot say on YouTube. If you are having seriously deep, dark, negative thoughts, please seek emergency help right away. Some of these include, for example, if you're living in the United States, you can seek 911. You could call 911, and there's other hotlines you can call, which I put on the screen now, the hotline you can call. If you are living in another country, please seek emergency services based off of your country, okay? And tell somebody if you are having really negative, dark thoughts. Please do not keep it to yourself. And number 4 preface. Although yes, I'm a psychiatric nurse, this is not to be seen as professional medical advice, as in I'm not establishing care with anyone who watches this video. Please seek a mental health professional. This has been using my experience as a psychiatric nurse to help me make this video, but I'm speaking to you guys as just a YouTuber and not a professional at this moment. Medication and therapy. I know a lot of people shy away from medication and therapy, but medication for the right person at the right time can actually be very beneficial. Just make sure that you see a mental health care professional provider and that you're under the care of a mental health care professional while you are on these medications. That is very important. So I know some people shy away from medications, or like they feel some type of way because of the stigma around it, even though, you know, we've had a lot of strides with social media. But just remember, medication is the spotter. You still have to do the work, okay? So say you're lifting weights, medication is the spotter, and you still have to do the work. So that's what this video is, the work. And also, of course, therapy. I love therapy. Therapy is amazing, but remember, therapy is like, you know, you have to try out, sometimes you have to try out different therapists. If one therapist doesn't work, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on therapy. Try it. There's different types of therapy. We have cognitive behavioral therapy. We have eye movement desensitization therapy, EMDR, interpersonal therapy. We have so many different types of therapies out there that I think a lot of people don't know about. Therapy that's based off of family, therapy that's based off challenges with interpersonal communication. We have dialectal behavioral therapy, we have TMS. There's so many things that we have out there. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Don't always knock professional help, okay? And also, lastly, the reason why I wanted to make a video of inexpensive ways to manage depression is because I know, like, some people have issues with insurance. Maybe they don't have insurance. Maybe they don't have the funds to see a therapist, or to get mental health professional help, or maybe they just don't know the resources that are available to them in their specific state or territory. And sometimes people are still embarrassed to admit that they are going through depression. They don't want to be labeled as crazy. They don't want to be labeled as someone's weird. But I think that's very sad. I think that's very sad, because if you look at the political climate that's going on right now in the whole world, and people going through their own journeys in their personal life. Guys, you never know what somebody is going through, and that's why I always try to treat people with respect, because you really truly never know what somebody's going through. Even if they have a smile on their face, please, 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 it's just a PSA, treat everybody with respect and love, and just basic respect, because you never know what somebody's going through. But without further ado, let's head into the ways to manage depression. First thing I want to say is that some of the things that I mentioned in this video may not apply to you. You may listen to it and be like, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think it works for me, and that is okay. For example, journaling. I know a lot of people say journaling is very good for depression, especially if you have a lot of thoughts. I'm not saying I will never journal, but when I was younger, I used to journal. And for me, I don't really like journaling, because I kind of see it as, even though it's not, journaling can help sometimes, but it doesn't always help me. Sometimes if I'm going through something that is really hard in my life, I feel like when I journal, it's a form of reliving it. And it's hard for me to write it on paper. It's something about the movement of the pen. So, and just me writing it, and then if I go back and read it, it's gonna make me feel sad. Journaling can be a great avenue if you have trouble expressing your thoughts. If you have trouble, organizing your thoughts and seeing how you really feel, or if you have a decision to make, journaling can really help. But you don't have to do it just because everybody says, you should journal. It's the same thing with meditation. Meditation really does help people, like sitting in silence two times a day, like for 20 minutes. But for me, I need guided meditation, because if I meditate, I may fall asleep or something. So tweak whatever tips I'm about to give you to you and your life. Something I want to say, especially for adults, I don't know if everybody's an adult who's watching this video, but especially if you're an adult, one thing that we, as you get older, you get caught up in life and then work and everything, that we forget about hobbies. When I was going through stuff as a nurse, I took my pain, created a hobby. Like, for example, I love to write, and I created a book of what I wish I would have known as an LPN. So everything that I went through, all the pain, suffering that I went through, you guys don't have to, because I created a book, what I wish I would have known for as an LPN. Even if you're an RN, I think this really helps. I even go through some personal things I've went through. By the way, yes, this is a shameless plug, and you can get your copy at the description box in the link below. And try to make it a hobby that it's not only just a regular hobby, but a hobby that can benefit you. So for example, I'm not the best chef, okay? I am not the best chef, but one thing you can do is you can make cooking a hobby, because guess what? If you cook all your meals at home, not only can you save money. I would go into a restaurant and I would see a meal that I like, and I'm like, oh my god, this tastes so good, like I wish I could make it. I would go on YouTube and search how to make this specific meal, and then I would find a video that I find that is easy for me to follow, and I would write down the list of ingredients, go to the supermarket, buy all the ingredients, and make the food. And when I succeed at that, it really lifts my self-esteem, and it really makes me feel happy that I was able to make a dish that actually tastes good. And guess what? I could save money, because I don't have to like keep going out and buying food. If you have the funds, going to a cooking class nearby your house and then going back and trying. Another thing is gardening. Even if you live in an apartment or a small house, you can go on YouTube and search like how to grow different fruits and vegetables. Okay, we all know what's going on with the food in the United States, at least, so if you can learn how to grow your own food, you can control literally what you put in your body. You can control the GMOs, you can control how you grow your food. That's such a beautiful thing, and you can make your food from scratch, which is beautiful. All the things that I've listed so far, such as making food and growing your garden, is a trial and error. I remember one time I was trying to make something called legume, which is Haitian legume, and long story short, I bought all these things and I bought all these vegetables and materials, and it was a disaster. It tasted so bad. It was really, really bad. Yes, it was horrible. But guess what? And I felt discouraged. I felt discouraged. But guess what? I tried again. It was several months after, honestly, but I tried again, and this time it was amazing, you know. And I wrote down the recipe in an index card. It's understanding that these hobbies are like a trial and error, so you don't personalize it. If you don't succeed at something the first time, if you don't succeed at growing a tomato for the first time, don't personalize it. Just keep trying and keep trying until you succeed. If you're able to do gardening, that is good exercise, you know, especially for the elderly people. It's good exercise. You get some sun. You're working with God's beautiful creation, like the food on the earth that we were meant to eat. You may have to do some trial and error, some research, how to prevent animals from getting to it. You know, you have to research everything. But guess what? You can do it. Another hobby that I think is really good for depression is crocheting and sewing, okay? So if you could take a class on crochet and sewing, that's amazing. But if you don't have money to take a class, that's fine. You can go to like a fabric store, or you could go on Amazon and you can buy yarn or whatever they use for crochet. I forgot. I used to do crochet when I was younger. So you can go on YouTube and you could just start learning how to crochet. In fact, that could even turn to a business. A lot of people, they learn how to crochet and sew, and they start their Etsy business. They open up their Etsy business or eBay business, and they start to sell it. I remember one time I was working with this one nurse, and she was extremely creative. She could bedazzle anything, and she sold that on her Etsy and her eBay store. So that's pretty cool. But these are hobbies that you can develop over time, and that can actually also be a source of income for you. Another thing is you can pick up is painting. I know in the Houston area, we have certain areas where, you know, you could paint, like group paint. You could go on eventbrite.com, or you could go on different websites on Facebook, like different Facebook groups like Houston Paint or whatever. Just Google and research, and you could find different people who are painting, and you could bring your easel if you have one, or anything to paint on, anything that they require you. Sometimes there's like a very minimal fee that you pay for them to provide all the art supplies for you. If, say for example, you're someone you don't really like to go out much, you can buy coloring books. There are adult coloring books that you can use. A lot of times just that motion of coloring like can really help your mental health as well. I forgot to mention, you can also buy like a small piano or guitar and literally teach yourself how to play these instruments. There's so many online courses now, and even free things that you can see on YouTube, and even inexpensive courses on websites such as Udemy. Or you can even take classes in person. Don't let your age and say, oh, I'm too old to learn a new instrument. Remember, artistic expression enhances mental health. The more you get good at painting, the more you get good at coloring, that also boosts your self-esteem. Another thing you can do is like yoga outside. There are some yoga groups that you can join. Walking clubs, there are different walking clubs in Houston area. You don't have to go like running clubs and like join like a marathon and like really train hard. Sometimes just walking, like you could go research your nearest park nearby, and like making sure that you get like at least 30 minutes of aerobic exercise at least 3 times a week. That can help a lot. With the exercise thing, I want to mention, I'm also aware that some people do not have the energy to do a lot of exercise due to the depression, or maybe they may have some medical ailments. So even if it's a walk around your neighborhood, even if it's like just down the block and back, getting some sunshine is imperative. Like just getting some sunshine. And if you don't know anybody, you can join those walking groups and clubs online. Social circle. Like I know sometimes when you have depression, some people, not all, sometimes the way that manifests is you tend to stay indoors a lot. You tend to not talk to anyone. So for example, I'm the type of person, if I feel really sad, I tend to isolate myself, and the reason why I isolate myself is because I wouldn't want to spread my negative energy or feelings onto others. It's nothing personal. I just don't want to spread it because I know I'm feeling really down, and it's like, but that's not really a good thing. So it's not too good to always isolate yourself. You need to talk to people. You need to do that because the brain literally needs it. Like, we are social creatures. Even if you're an introvert, it doesn't matter. You need at least be around someone. So another way you can get involved socially is join a support group, okay? So for example, Alcohol Anonymous, if you are suffering from alcohol use disorder, of course, see a mental health professional because that's very serious. There's support groups for people who are caretakers, okay? There are social support groups for people who are going through different medical ailments, even psychological ailments. There are different social support groups, and all you have to do is go on Google and research them. Some of them are free. You just have to be able to do the legwork and to research them. I know sometimes it can be really hard when you have depression. There's only so much energy you have to do. There's only so much energy you have. So use that energy that you have to research those groups. And I know sometimes it can be hard to put on clothes and go, but while there are some online options, yes, do that, but also make it a goal to say, okay, I'm gonna go out and do it. Sometimes I feel like it's better when you actually go out and physically see people, because that is normal, guys. Like, this is natural, this is in our DNA. But if you can't make it outside, first step is you could go online. You don't even have to put your camera on. You could turn your camera off and, you know, just have like a Zoom call where you do that. Another thing that has been really helpful is like joining different groups. For example, Toastmasters. Like, I'm in Toastmasters, and if you guys don't know that, it's just a group about like public speaking, and it helped me a lot. It helped me create friends here in Houston. If you join a group, whether it's, for example, whether it's a Bible study or it's a Quran study, I don't know, whatever religion you have, that can really help as well. Whatever social groups, make sure that you have the same morals and values as the social group that you have, because if you guys have something in common, that can really help you, because the person can see where you're coming from. But with that said, another thing about socialization and depression, one thing I found is that purposefully try to seek out to speak to someone who is different from you, whether they look different from you, whether they're a different race, religion, socioeconomic status, job. God, we are all God's children, but we all are very different as well. For example, I was in the grocery store today and I smiled at someone and they smiled back at me, and we had like a short little exchange. We weren't talking about anything, but it was a beautiful thing. Or I remember one time I was in the grocery store and I was trying to make this recipe, and I was about to buy a tool, and then this lady, she comes up to me, she's like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I don't mean to impose, but this product is really not good. And she explained to me the reasons why, and we started speaking, and I found out that she was actually a professional chef. So you see, you never know who you can meet as well. So I'm not telling you guys to just go out there and speak to strangers, especially, I don't know who's watching this video. You could be a teenager, you could be a child. I'm not saying just talk to anybody. That's very dangerous. Simple conversation about, I learned how she was a chef and how she was cooking. To me, that means everything. That made my day. Like, I was so happy to speak to somebody about that, because, you know, being a nurse and being in healthcare, I love what I do. I love what I do, but you don't always have to socialize with people who are in your field, right? You know, you could go outside and meet people who are in different fields, learn about some different stuff, have new hobbies, learn about sewing, learn about people who make clothes for a living. Like, open your mind, you know? And when you open your mind, you meet different people, you have different perspectives. Maybe they can help you with whatever issue that you're going through, just by talking about which season blueberries are made, or which brand of blueberries are the sweetest, for example. Like, I love having these simple conversations with people. They are so therapeutic. I can't explain it, but just go out there, socialize, but be careful. And you'll be amazed how people are just craving, especially in this day and age of AI and technology, how people are just craving social interaction and just a smile, you know, like, and you could truly make somebody's day. You never know what people are going through. Another hobby you can do is tennis. I have a tennis racket, I have tennis balls. So all I have to do, there's this app I go to where I could search like tennis players near me, and I could go to whatever tennis court I want to go to and play tennis. Or you could Google, like I know in Houston we have a lot of areas where you can literally play tennis with anybody. Like, you know, you just, or you can play it with yourself. Hey, if that's the stage that you're in, you could play tennis with yourself. Not only are you getting a good workout, but you're having fun. You know, bring your water, bring your visor so you're not overheating. Take swimming lessons. I used to take swimming lessons. Or you could take tennis lessons. But if you don't have money to go do swimming lessons or tennis lessons, buy a racket and, you know, tennis balls, and go to the free parks around your area to play tennis with people or by yourself. Sometimes they have those walls where you can play it by yourself. Or you can go to a gym that has a pool, and you can just, you know, be safe, of course, by the water. So there's so many things that you can do. The thing is, you can join a book club. There are plenty of free book clubs out there. Not only, so many people, guys, are losing the skill to read. This is very serious now. We have ChatGPT, we have AI, we have YouTube, you know, we have movies, we have Netflix. A lot of people are not reading. It's not that they're not intelligent, it's just that a lot of people just don't read anymore. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So join a book club that will challenge you to gain the skill of reading. And then when you go out in the world, when you communicate with people, you will sound so much, so when you go out in the world, you communicate with people, you will sound so much more intelligent. Your vocabulary will expand, and that will help you with your depression as well. Because if you read like fiction books, for example, that could be fun. You could go into a world inside of your book, and you're gaining a skill at the same time. To your local farmers market, if there is like an art fair going on, I really love art. If you guys don't know, acting was my first love. There was a walkway where they were just painting, and it was beautiful, and I got to walk through. There was like a walkway where I got to see different artists. I wasn't forced to buy anything, but it was beautiful just to see different people's different people's artwork, and that was a beautiful thing. And farmers market, I got to learn about how people grew their foods. That can be a wonderful, beautiful way to spend like a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon, and you could eat healthier when you go to a farmers market versus a grocery store. What you feed into your spirit, and what I mean by that is watch what you watch on YouTube or even your television. I'm not saying, for example, to not stay informed. Yes, stay informed on what's going on politically, but don't watch the news every single day. In my opinion, if you watch negative stuff every day, it's gonna engulf your spirit, and like that's what you're going to be focusing on. Instead, watch YouTube videos like this one, watch self-help videos, watch pranking videos. Like, oh my gosh, sometimes you just need a good laugh. And for example, for me, I love watching pranking videos on TikTok. That really makes me laugh. Also, I wanted to mention decluttering. Okay, a lot of times, I know you guys thinking like, declutter, sometimes you don't have the energy to do it when you're really depressed, when you're really down in the dumps. So take it little by little. That's one thing I want to let you know. You don't have to do every single thing in one day. So take it little by little, but when you're about to do it, have a little pick-me-up. For example, I love the refreshers in Dunkin' Donuts. However, be careful with caffeine, because with caffeine and depression, a lot of people don't know caffeine has little antidepressant effect. Just in case anybody gets confused, no, caffeine is not an antidepressant. Please don't use it as medication. Thanks. Like, you ever realize like you feel really happy when you drink caffeine? So I try to limit my caffeine intake, but also be aware of the withdrawal effects of caffeine. Some of them can make you feel really, really low and sad. It just basically does the opposite of what it's like supposed to make you feel energized. It can make you really feel low. And caffeine withdrawal, understand that's what it is. It can make you feel really, really depressed when you're not really depressed. It could just be a symptom of caffeine withdrawal. So while yes, I believe that you can use caffeine, you can use like different refreshers and stuff like that to get stuff done, especially when it comes to decluttering and cleaning, which is very, very, very hard for people with depression to do. Even taking a shower can be extremely hard because it's just like that motion, that removing all your clothes and everything. Having those refreshers can help, but also remember to limit your intake of caffeine. Like, for example, if I really slept 8 hours and I don't need caffeine that day, I'm not gonna have caffeine that day, because when I actually need the caffeine, it probably won't work. So make sure you limit your caffeine intake and only take it when you need to, and know that it is not an antidepressant. It could have some mild antidepressant effects, but it actually could worsen depression, because, for example, if you're drinking caffeine, especially late in the afternoon, and then you can't sleep, guess what? When you have a lack of sleep, even if you don't feel it first thing in the morning, your body is keeping score of all the times that you're not sleeping. So that can also affect depression levels, because you need sleep in order to not be depressed. Also, you guys know, make sure that you're around people who are uplifting you. If you are around people who try to put you down or who is talking negative towards you, put a distance between yourself and that person. So guys, I want to touch on negative thoughts. Sometimes you may have a negative thought saying that, oh, you're not good enough, or oh. So for the purpose of this video, I actually wanted to clarify the difference between hearing voices and just plain negative thoughts. So when somebody hears voices, it's usually perceived as an external voice that is coming from outside of themselves. And this can be very dangerous, because sometimes these voices can tell them to harm someone else or harm themselves. So this is something that other people can't hear, but they can hear. And also there's something called visual hallucinations, where people can see things that's not there. And a lot of times, sometimes depression can manifest with these psychotic features. It's called depression with psychotic features. So if you are having these symptoms, please, please, please seek emergent care right away, especially if you're having serious thoughts of harming yourself or others. Call 911 right away. Get help right away. Right now, there are different medications and different therapies and other resources that you can get to help you, but this is very serious. Please take it serious and get help. We also have postpartum, depression, blues, and psychosis. So that a lot of people, I feel like there's not a lot of news or talking about women who just given birth and the depressive symptoms that they can experience. You're an imposter, or you're a fraud. Just know that I just want to challenge you guys that, did you know that not every single thought you have is true? Remember what I talked about? Like, if you're watching like negative videos or negative movies or anything, or being around people who are saying negative things towards you, unfortunately, some people grew up in a household where their people who are supposed to love on them says negative things towards them. Just know that that is not true. You could have a negative thought about yourself, but don't say it out loud. Don't say, oh, I'm so stupid. No, you're not stupid. Replace it with a positive thought. Even if you're out there socially, let's say you're at a party and you're thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. So you know what? No, I don't accept that. I am good enough. Or if you have a thought that says, oh, I just can't do anything right, say, no, I don't accept that. I can do everything right. You must replace the negative thought with a positive thought right away. And just like if someone in real life says to you, if they say, oh, you're so stupid, say, no, I don't accept that. I am not stupid. I'm a type of person, I like to see the good in every single person. For example, if I see somebody and they said something negative towards me, I'm the type of person, I don't like to harbor hatred or rage in my heart for that person. I'm like, okay, they said that person, I'm gonna keep my distance from that person. But you know what, like maybe they're going through something, maybe, you know, something in their life is happening that I have no idea of, and I don't personalize it. 9 times out of 10 has nothing to do with you. So just by being somebody who's able to let go when somebody does something, but not draw them into you, because that could be very dangerous too, that is a great characteristic to have, and it helps you to live a more grateful life. Of course, gratefulness, being grateful for like listing down 10 things you could be grateful for every single day, first thing in the morning, is a great practice to have. Last but not least, I want to touch on spirituality a little bit. I know I have people of different faiths who watch my channel, so I'm not going to impose my spirituality upon you. But one thing I would say is, for me, for example, I love to pray, I love to talk to God. And also, I would say a generalized blanket statement for every single person, no matter what your faith is, no matter what your walk is, no matter what you believe in, I would say try to figure out the purpose of why you're here, okay? Because every single person, if you're still breathing right now, you have a mission, and that's my belief, that you have a mission on this earth to complete. No matter what society tells you, no matter what people tell you, you have a mission on this earth to complete. And if you can understand, in my opinion, like God's vision for your life, if you know your mission, your purpose on this earth, all of the challenges and everything that you go through will make sense. For example, when I first started out in nursing, I was one nurse and had 40 residents to give medications to, and nobody wanted to help me at all. And throughout my 11 years of nursing experience, one thing I really wish I would have had was a mentor. I really wish somebody would have, like, just to guide me, like, don't take this job, take that job. Okay, if you're going back to school, do this, do that. I really wish I would have had someone to help me. If you're gonna work in a jail, this is what you do. If you're gonna work in a family clinic, is what you do. Be careful with this person. You can trust this person. Okay, this, that. Like, I really wish I would have had someone to guide me, and social media wasn't how it is now with all these nursing YouTubers. I really wish I would have had that. But now that I'm much older, and you know, 11 years later, I'm coming up on 11 years. It's crazy. I don't know. Y'all do the math. I first became a nurse in 2013. Now, all these years later, I believe that one of my life purposes is to show people the way. Shameless plug, really, go get my book, because I really wish I would have had a book like that. I really wish I could just go to a chapter on, okay, Psych LPN. Oh my God, I'm about to find a Psych LPN gig. Let me read it. Or I wish I would have had inputting medications. Okay, how to input medications on the EMR system. Even if you're using a different EMR system, I could still help. Or keeping your physical body safe in a nursing home, you know, or orientation period in a nursing home. How many people you know, how many people you know, how many nurses you know about how to conduct yourself socially in orientation period? So many people don't know. They don't know about it. So I say this to say, okay, let me get off my soapbox. I say this to say that I believe one of my purposes in life is sometimes the challenges I go through, especially when I go through them alone, is to teach other people and teach other people my way. Now, that's why I don't ever frustrate myself of, oh, this video got 2 views, I'm not in this number of subscribers. I don't really care. The people who are meant to be on my channel, the people who are meant to subscribe to me, the people who are meant to find me will find me, and they're getting genuine, real life, remove your rose-colored glasses kind of advice, not fluff. Okay? So, with that said, whatever you're going through in your life, that could be one of your mission, is to the next person who goes through what you went through, for you to help the person, and for, of course, for God's glory to shine on your life. To shine on your life. For God's glory to shine on your life. So I'm gonna close this video out by saying that the #1 thing that helps out of all these things is having a relationship with God and praying to God and just having that relationship. God has helped me through so much. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and I pray that you guys are of sound mind and that peace is sent to you, and that you may have a peace of mind, and that you smile today, and that you're happy this week, and that come back to this video if ever you forget like a tip. If ever you forget like a tip, you could always come back to this video, take some notes, and I wish peace and blessings on you. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Bye.